Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, aliens of all ages, that's me, Jack. Back with Jack of the Models, because I'm Jack. This week, we're going to have an exciting episode. I hope you think it's exciting. I think it's going to be fun-filled, action-packed, and yes, even a little bit heartwarming. Why? Because I'm here. Now, basically, we're in our second episode, and I appreciate you coming back for more. Today's episode, we're going to be dealing with the 89 Batmobile, which is from the 89 Batman movie with Michael Keaton. This is technically the third live-action vehicle, Batmobile, in television and movies. For those of you who don't know Batman, I guess I'll go into it. Okay, Batman was created in 1939 by Bill Finger and, of course, Bob Kane. And he was a superhero vigilante. He's celebrating his 80th anniversary this year. Basically, his parents were killed. He grew up, wanted vengeance against the person who killed his parents, and took on the personage of a bat so he could terrify people, because in 1939, bats were terrifying. Today, he'd be the tarantula. Or probably, Ryan Seacrest. Okay, that's where I need crickets chirping. That would be kind of cool. Anyhow, in 1939, he was created. In the 1940s, they did movie serials with him, which were those little snippet movies that they'd have between or before other films, where you had to come back and see what happened next week at the end, because they'd have a cliffhanger where the hero would be in danger. 1966, of course, brought the Batman live-action series with Adam West and Burt Ward, great people. Great show, and they made a movie, and then later made a live-action show called Legends of the Superheroes, which appeared on ABC. You can find that on, I think, Hulu or Amazon. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube somewhere. Check it out. It's kitschy, it's funny, it's goofy, but I had a good time watching it when I was a kid. After that, the studio said, Warner Brothers came up to Tim Burton and said, let's make a Batman movie. So he made it in his style with the great Michael Keaton as the Batman. I'm Batman. He started that. So whenever you hear that, he should be getting like royalties or something. Anyhow, so they were tasked with making a Batmobile that fit into a Tim Burton universe, and that is what we will be working on today. It is I'd say it's probably close to my second favorite Batmobile in live action. I've liked all of them in their own ways, but my favorite has always been the 66. And then, of course, this one, the 89 Batmobile, really inspired the Batmobile from the animated series, which was also awesome and was also an awesome Batmobile. Anyhow, without further delay, let's go over to the table and we will get on with the review of the parts and the box and all that good stuff. So let's get going. Okay, here we're back with this week's model, the 89 Batman Batmobile by AMT Ertl. It features the 89 Batmobile, Batman, the bat symbol right here. We got everything you need on the front. Box is a really cool box. This one's a little bent up. This was a eBay win for me. So the ones down below will not be eBay wins. You can trust on better shipping. As you can see, a nice side view of the car. We've got some specifications of how the car is supposed to work. We go around the side and we've got the Batmobile like the cover. And on the back side, we've got all the copyright information. We've got pictures of the model constructed. And then we go back to another side view, side of the main cover. On the back in the day, they didn't put images of the parts on it. So that's kind of different, but we're going to find out what this kit is all about. Now I do like the box, and well, this is awkward. There's no model. There's like some pieces, and there's an original flyer to order the Batmobile Cocoon Armor Shield Protector to put over the top. Some trees. Now I'm playing with you. There was actually a model in here. The original review did get corrupt. So unfortunately, after I built the model, the review part went away. But I'm going to go over a few things. Anyhow, we do have a nice, lovely model instruction manual. And it's a big one. It's a big one. AMT has a way of doing these kinds of instruction manuals. Now, there's not a lot of different plans on here because there's not a lot of parts. But as you can see, there starts out with the cockpit. There are 2 chairs. There is the gear shifters. There is the dashboard, the cowling, and the steering wheel. The sides of the car, the top of the vehicle is all in one piece, as is the bottom. So, well, 2 pieces if you count the cowling for the canopy. Okay, then there's these pieces here. We have got pieces for the jet intake and output, which you can see down here. And the other thing is that there are these fins. Now, I'll go over this later, but the fins, when a model company builds something like this with fins, they're never going to fit 100%. So you're going to need, to me, a putty to fill in, or a filler putty to fill in and sand down these edges so that it looks like it's all smooth in one piece. As you can see, we've got a little bit more. There are some window pieces here. There's a back baffle plate to separate the cockpit from the back of the car. But there are some decent pieces in here. There are wheels, of course, and all that stuff, so you can get an idea of what pieces come in. You can see there's the top of the car, the bottom of the car, and then the canopy. I'm sorry I don't have the actual pieces this time. This will be rectified next episode. So we'll be back with the build. Okay, and we are back, and I have already gone ahead and I primed the body with the standard filler primer, and then I used the color shift primer, which is like a gloss black. I suggest using that specifically instead of any other gloss black, just because it's made specifically for the color shift. And then you put in a coat of the color shift, which gives you this nice, it's hard to see on camera, but the color changes with the light. So it's like a blue and a green and a purple. I did the wash on here with the silver wash just to bring out the details. Did a little black wash on the air intake because it looks like it's been, as well as the exhausts, to make sure that they look like they've been used. Also on the tail, where the flame comes out, I had to do a little bit of a black wash on there just to get it looking a little grimy, because otherwise it will tend to have a, it'll look too shiny. But I also got the canopy done, and you see there's a big piece of glass there, well, plastic, clear plastic for viewing through. Hey all, we're back again, and I now have the final piece to work on, which is the bottom of the vehicle, of the Batmobile. Now, I already went through and sprayed it down with black matte. It's called Black Ultra Matte, also by Rust-Oleum. But the one thing is there's a lot of details with the rocket engine under here. as you can see, the turbine, and you know, you go back and you've got the exhaust ports and stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and dry brush some of that detail. So I'm going to start out with this metallic gunmetal gray. This is a really nice paint, and you don't need much, just a little drop will do ya. Yep, that's a little bit more than I actually need, but hey. And I'm going to take one of my smaller brushes. Now, basically what we're going to do with this is we're going to just get the tip just a little bit wet. And we're going to come over, and this is how dry brushing works. As you can see, I'm getting the raised detail painted, but not the recessed painting, or the recessed detail. This is so that it gives it a little more depth and a little bit more more weathered look. As we go across, what you want to do, sometimes if you get too much paint on, you can just dip it. Now if I were gonna wash this, I would fill this with water, and then I would put it on and then wipe it off with a towel so that the recessed edges got filled, but not the raised detail. And this one with the dry brushing is the raised detail. So as you can see, I'm getting a little bit of color on the raised detail, but not underneath necessarily. Now I'll probably get some in the recesses, because when you first start going, sometimes you got a little too juicy of a paintbrush. And you know, like I say, you can dip it on your board or whatever you're using to. Okay, as you can see, I've got wheels, and you can see there's some detail in there. I washed it with the black just to kind of let the design pop out and to show a little bit of wear, so it's not terribly shiny. But we've got 4 wheels like that. We've got the front wheels, we've got the rear wheels are larger, obviously, and thicker, because they are the rear wheels. We've got the axle, which this one came with the kit, has been sitting for a long time, so it's a little rusty. But I'm just gonna, for right now, show you the basics of putting the wheels together. You're gonna start by putting the axle in to one of the wheels, as so, and then you're going to come back here to the back, because this is the wider wheel, and there's a nice little hole for it to fit through, and you're going to fit it through the other hole on the other side, maybe. For some reason it does not want to go through. So let's get it into the light so I can see a little bit better what I'm doing. There we go. And then we take the other back wheel and we just stick it on the way we did the first back wheel by pressing it onto the axle. Lack of words there. And we'll be doing the same with the front. And then we will work on the canopy, or the interior. Now I still have the top of the dashboard on the tree that I used to hold it while I was painting it. Now this one, obviously, this part up here is gonna connect to the car, so you don't need to snap or nip this perfect or anything like that, because it will be hidden. You take that, throw it away, melt it down if you want to. Some people do that. They'll melt it down and then they'll make parts, or they'll make molds to put parts in. We're going to take the cockpit, and there's a little tab in the front of the cockpit, And you probably want to put a dab of glue along the top of the instrument panel, because this is going to cover that up. So you just pop this in like so. Let it lean on the dashboard. So you've got the cowling, and then the front of the car will go right here. And you're all ready to make it to the next step. So once this dries, then we'll flip it over, put it into the car, and I will be ready for the final unveil. That is the Batmobile. As you can see, that color shift paint shifts with the light. We've got a lot of good detail here. We got a little bit of what you'd call washing to get a little bit of the dinge on the car. You can see the hubcap areas looking good, and you got the nice shiny fuel tank caps. You've got the windows going on, and the roof will just pop right off and slide up for display. And we can go in and we can see the cockpit. It's got a little bit of display going on there. Anyhow, the review of this kit is that it is a fantastic kit. It's easy to put together. There are some things that you'll need a tweezers for, like getting in the lenses and so on and so forth, and the headlights and taillights. All the pieces aside from the fins went together fairly easy, but the fins were easily fixed with a little bit of putty, which is very easy to do. This color really pops on there. I really like it, and I'm sorry for all the little bits of dust and stuff. We've got cats, so we've got a little bit of hair and fluff on the car. But it did turn out really nice, and I'm very happy to have done this one. If you want to, I will have a link down below for this model kit specifically, and you can follow along, build your own. You can get a lighting kit for it. I did not do the lighting kit on this one. I just wanted to do static, simply because static is an easier way to go for most people. In the future, I may do lighting kits and so on and so forth, but this one, straight out of the box, a really cool color shift paint. As you can see, all the different shades are all Batman-y shades, purple and blue, and it's really neat. It looks even better in person than it does on video. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to, go ahead and order one from the link below. Also, all right, folks, thank you again for stopping by, checking out Jack of Models. I am Jack of Models, and I really appreciate having you come by and watch my show. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tune in next time. We will have a brand new model, and I don't even know what I'm going to do with it yet. There may be some work to play around with. Otherwise, it may just be a straight build like this one. At any rate, this is Jack of Models, and I'm signing off. You have yourself a great day. Thank you for stopping by. See you next time.